Today's topic is about mindfulness and Taqwah. I spoke about this topic to the Muslim Masjid last Jummah. So that is the first aspect of it. I'll not repeat most of the things, but if anybody interested, they can look into the YouTube channel. In Surah Al Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described, so I'm going to continue with this topic today for the wisdom and hikmah and the mindfulness. In essence, mindfulness is to be conscious of one being in the moment of existence. And this is a very scientifically proven study in which they did this study on people and they have them do mindfulness consciousness. It's not a meditation, it is just being in the moment. As we learned from Islamic teaching, the difference between mindfulness, what the Western culture have adopted, which has much more of a Buddhism influence on them, the Islamic concept is in the mindfulness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is present in Islamic concept. Well, the other adyan, obviously, they don't have the concept, which is especially Buddhism, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a wahdahu la sharik. So if we take anything which is described in a taqwa and enumerate them, number them, and then you write the mindfulness, what they've found in modern science, they're doing it to telling patients who have a problem with the dementia, focusing, concentration, brain which is being degeneration or dying or weakening, which is known as dementia. As people go in advanced age, they get dementia. They have forgetfulness. They cannot remember. They do not remember themselves. Even though physically they are very healthy, mind is not there. So this mindfulness is to train the human brain to be focused and concentrating and to be functional and not to degenerate. So in their concept, what they are telling a person to do is what we are told in Taqwah to do. And the difference is they don't have Allah and we have Allah in there. So this is the very essence, if you could tell. I will try to inshallah compare. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what is Quran is teaching about this mindfulness. It's not a meditation. You don't close your eyes, you don't go into the trance and all that. You stay in the moment. The mindfulness is you live in this very moment. As we are all sitting here, we are focused about our very much presence in this moment. Mindfulness also tells person to focus on environment, looking up at the sky. قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would look up the sky and his wish in his heart was granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that to turn the Qibla from Bayt al-Maqdis to Masjid al-Aqsa to Haram Kaaba, Makkah al-Mukarramah. So if we have wish in our heart, we should look up at the sky. Looking at the cloud improves human brain. Feeling the breeze, just be aware of it. Listening to the birds and the nature. Observation of the nature of present moment. Thinking about our own breathing, slow and comfortable breathing in and breathing out. Be conscious that I'm breathing. Often we are not aware of our breathing. Mindfulness wants human to think of their own body parts. This is my hand, feel for my hand. What we do in Taqwah and concentration in the Salah, we stay focused. Our mind wanders. Mindfulness tells when you are focusing on things, if your mind wanders away, come back to it. What we are told when you make Salah, be conscious you are conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we are conversing and the mind strays away, we are told to focus on the words of the Quran, which we recite in Surah Fatiha or other surah in the Salah. And it's being told to us by Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, when we say takbir tahrima, we make first the niyyah. Innamal a'malu bin niyyat. All action depends on the niyyah of a person. So when we make salah, we make a niyyah. Mindfulness tells us to be conscious of your intention of doing this mindfulness. So when we are in the niyyah of salah or any siyam or any act of ibadah, so we are conscious of it. Even though sometimes we are straying away our conversation, so focus is you are there in the moment, not about past, not about future. And this is interesting thing for human. We always live in the future, worrying about future, but we always miss out the present. I'm constantly worrying about my job, my family, my future accomplishment. I want to become this. As we were young, we were all told you have to be such and such, doctor, engineer, accountant, make good living, make yourself rich, make good family and all. We're thinking in future, but the moment we were living there, we never celebrate. And then we think, oh, what a beautiful childhood we had. Actually, in those childhood days, if I remember myself and my group of friends, we were always planning to do something unusual to get ourselves in a better future in life. What was the beautiful future in life? Get a degree, get a good job, or have more money, have family. This is the dream of, but this is all future. But the present moment where we were and where we are still. So we are brain trained, our brain washed that we will be living for future, but the present was there and we missed it. And what happened is, what we do now will make our future. Like we went to school. So if we didn't go to school, we will not go to college. We will not go to college, we will not go to get the degree. We will not get a better job. So we were all planning for the future, but the present moment where we were supposed to celebrate and enjoy, we did not train our mind. And what happened now today, still, when we are here, I'm thinking, I have to finish at 1 o'clock. Oh, I don't want to get late. This guy is speaking for so long, I have to be in the job. It is reality. But the moment is there. Celebrate the moment what we are. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran, this beautiful verse, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لِآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. In the turnings of the days and night, in the creation of the skies and the heavens and the earth, and in the turning of the day and night, there is a sign for the people of ulul albab, the people of intellect. But we never observe those things. We are Muslim, but we never contemplate. Even though we believe subconsciously that Allah made the heavens, but we never explore the heavens. There was a time when Muslims were discovering that what is in the sky, what is in the earth. And all the sciences, believe me, all the sciences were made as a subject of science for human to research, systematically organized way, were done by Muslims. Europeans took over in 16th century and onwards. But before that, 600 to 800 years, all the sciences were developed by Muslims. The word university was established by a Muslim, which is known as Jamia, which comes from the Kulliya, which is the faculty, which is college. So they translate Kulliya into college and Jamia into university, and all the sciences were Muslims. The first university which we know was established in Fez, in Morocco. But around that time, or a little bit before that, was Azhar was established. Jamia al-Azhar is the oldest university in the world. Yet we already talk about Harvard and Yale and all Cambridge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there is sign for this. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَيَتَفَكُّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. This is a contemplation of a Muslim when they think, when we look around, we look at nature, we look at the surrounding, we say, those who remember Allah while standing and sitting and lying down, and they contemplate and say, Lord, you have not created this thing in vain. Subhanallah. And then they say what? Save us from hellfire. Because they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The ultimate thing in Islam is La ilaha illallah. Man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. Whoever says none is worthy of worship except Allah will enter the Jannah. So this is the promise of Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us to think and contemplate. So in the mindfulness, I'm comparing these two, Taqwah with that. So I will go flip-flop in the topic here there. So in mindfulness therapy, typically involve guided exercise and techniques that help a person to recognize and accept your thoughts and feelings without acting automatically. Develop a stronger connection to the present moment. Cultivate a compassionate and non-judgmental perspective towards yourself and others. This therapy, we are told, do not be judgmental about people. You have to be worried about yourself, not judging other people. And we have, as a human, we all do that. We will immediately judge if you're dressed differently. If you're coming in masjid and you're dressed not the way the masjid dressing should be, we will quickly think you're disrespectful to the masjid. But we don't know what is going on in that person's mind. Rather than judging, we should politely approach this person. or approach him after the fact this happened. A man came into Masjid al-Nabawi and he started urinating. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what did he do? The Sahaba were running to stop him, that he's going to disgrace our masjid and make it dirty. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, no, wait. Let him get relieved. When he was done urinating, which is a very stressful situation. If I'm peeing and somebody stopped me, it will be very distressful in reality. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, let this man finish. After that, he said, go and wash the place. And he brought this man. And did he not say, you are this and that, and you dishonored my masjid and all that? He said, this is not the way to do it. This is not the place to do this kind of urination or activities. So there's a way to approach. And this is where the judgmental thing comes without knowing. You know, in Pakistan, something we all do. You know, Pakistanis know about it. If you're praying in Masjid Salah and you don't have a cap on your head, what they do? It doesn't matter, you're in the middle of Salah, bang on you. Take a cap and put on your head. Cap is not a fard, neither wajib. It is a sunnah. It's a mustahab. It's better. And we all think Arabs are really bad Muslim because they don't wear cap when they come to masjid. This is our assumption. There are a lot of things that are culture, and a lot of things are respectfully done. But it's not the part of it. Pant was haram, to wear pants and come into the masjid. That was a fatwa in subcontinent, before the Ferengis took over subcontinent. And today you don't find anybody in shalwar kameez in the masjid. Again, culture, times take over, but the thing is, modesty is the concept. So this is where we are supposed to be tolerant to each other and respectful to the person. The person in the masjid is for worship. That is more important than not being in the masjid. And this is where the mindfulness is respect everybody for their being what they are. So mindfulness, focus upon breathing. When you focus on breathing, when we're doing salah, we are supposed to not to be rushing. And again, I find myself, I'm not going to say about anybody because I live in my body. I go and I'm rushing. It's finished. Surah Fatiha is over. I did not even understand. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. If you could comprehend Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, if you could feel the Rahman and Rahim with us in the zikr. When the abd says Allahu Akbar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lift the hijab. This is the hadith of Rasulullah. And then we start conversing with Allah, direct dialogue. You don't need a priest in between to do that. So this is how we are supposed to be conscious of our salah and our every word we converse or we speak in the salah. Second thing is the body mechanism. As I mentioned, we should be conscious of my limbs and body part and my lungs when I'm praying and breathing. This is to calm down. When we are in the emergency of work, of life and all these things, what Islam teaches us. In the middle of the day, when you are in the peak of your work hours, in the Zuhr Salah and Asr Salah, what we are told, take a break. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Nothing is greater than this stress what you're seeing. Allah is the greatest. We could see this concept of Islamic teaching, which was done for 1400 years, and now the science is discovering in 1970 that this mindfulness is the way to heal the brain. The thing is, observation. We should be observant. We are very observant. Muslims are very observant. We always observe the weakness of others, not the strength of others. We always find defect in other person. But myself, I'm perfect. You know, unfortunately, this happens. All the Muslim countries, they are supposed to be Muslim countries. They should be democratic for the Muslim country. But one person sits on the seat of power and he thinks everybody is stupid. And he says, I'm going to tell you how you're going to live. You are a traitor if you don't obey me. I'm going to kill you if you don't listen to me. I'm Muslim and I'm the powerful. What happened in Sham, happened in Egypt, happened in Pakistan. All Muslim countries, in the last 10 years, every Muslim country government has been toppled and the other person, dictator, has taken over. And the dictator has been toppled, that somebody else took over. And while this toppling happens, Israel took Golan Heights. Subhanallah. We are so we are celebrating, and understand the celebration, but there was nobody planning to leave respectfully so other person will defend the country. They lost their territory and they're still celebrating. which is, I understand they're suffering 50 years is not a big deal, not a joke. Somebody suffered. Egyptian, for 7,000 years history they have, only for I think a year or 3 years, Morsi was ruler. Other than every time was dictator ruling them. What a genius nation who did so much accomplishment. And then they are ruled by the dictators. And if you say anything bad about Egypt, Egyptians also got upset with me. They said, why are you talking about our country? I said, no, they are Muslims. I'm talking about the country. Wrong is wrong, whether done by American or by anybody. So we have a problem. We are judgmental, but we look at the weakness. We don't look at the strength. When we walk, we have to be mindful. Often people stumble and fall down. It is the mindfulness which tells us when you're walking, walk with the grace. Quran says, walk with the grace. Don't be just rushing. When you're coming to masjid, we find ourselves, we don't care. We just topple over the shoulder, over the person, and throw the shoes here. So, I have to be balanced. Just be patient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the intention. If I missed one rak'ah, I can repeat this rak'ah after the salah, as long as I have the salah. That's the whole goal. And then we park car where? We park around. Every Jummah we find one moment, that the moment who blocks everybody. That is the biggest moment. Who does the nafil salah at the line there. So nobody can cross the road also. So nobody can cross in front of him, and that moment will be praying in the last line in front of blocking everybody coming in and out, and he will park his car in the where everybody will be blocked. So nobody can leave the masjid and nobody can leave the parking lot. SubhanAllah, this is where we need to be a little bit mindful and respectful of it. Observation of it. So, as we do in our daily life, we are supposed to reduce anxiety and stress. Why we do this? Basically, we are very anxious about the situation wherever we are. As a Muslim, we are supposed to be people with the patience. When I try to break the red light, I have a chance of accident or getting a ticket. But within that light, to the next red light, there will be only 3 to 5 minutes break. It doesn't go any faster. And no matter how fast we try to topple, whenever I come here driving GPS taking, wallahi, no matter how fast I try, it's only 2 or 3 minutes difference. You somehow make it even, no matter what. You cannot beat 1 hour there. This is the nature of the human existence, but we all try to speed up. After I will leave namaz, I will be texting me, you took 5 minutes more today. Fine, go pray somewhere else. You don't have the patience, don't pray. This is the human nature as a Muslim. What we are doing to ourselves is we are driving each other angry. We need to be respectful for person. We need to be mindful of each other. This is the mindfulness, and this is what the taqwa is, for the sake and love of Allah. Accept other person's weakness. Respect the person's, you may not know what the person is going through emotionally. So before we judge people, we as a mindful Muslim, we should see, and as I said, all these things they are doing, when we do ruku and sujood, what happened with this mindful study, they did a person study with the MRI brain before and after 1 month of mindful therapy. The person was told to go and sit any place, barefoot sometime, with the shoes on, think around the nature, look up at the clouds, look up the sky. Also dedicate 1 day, and every day you do it for 10 minutes, then go to 20 to 30 minutes. And we do this much 30 minutes of salah in the entire day. Though we have multiple breaks. Each salah is no more than 5-7 minutes. And then what you do, you dedicate 1 day. I will today listen to the person who I oppose. Like if you're a Democrat, listen to the Republican. Just the person you hate most, listen to that person. That gives our brain ability to deal with the person we don't like. Second thing is, 1 day you will question people, how are you doing, without answering. And this is where the patience is. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to listen to the person, will never cut his conversation. And we never let anybody complete the statement because we want to tell him more than we want to listen from others. Again, it's a human thing. It's not that it's particular for the Muslims. I'm talking about in general, human art. We cut the conversation. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was once going by, and a woman who was supposed to be in the Medina was considered not sane. And she would hold Rasulullah in the heat. And she grabbed him and wanted to tell him about whatever her mind was going through. And Sahaba were upset because they were with him and they thought that she's wasting time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When she finished, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they said, Ya Rasulullah, you could have told her, or we could have avoided this woman. He said, if I will not listen to her, who else will listen? In entire Medina, there was a person who was not being spoken to. People didn't like to converse with him. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave him significant attention. This was a woman, the other one is a story about a man. So when he left, Aisha al-Mu'mineen radiallahu anha said, Ya Rasulullah, this man nobody wants to talk to. Isko koi muh nahi lagata. That's in the Urdu word. Why you spend so much time? He said, if I am not listening, who else will listen to him? So we should develop this patience, tolerance, and that gives us brain to improve. So what happened when the MRI was done before and after 1 month, only 1 month of half hour of mindfulness therapy, they found the frontal lobe of the person and the amygdala changed. Frontal lobe is the main. This is the area of the human brain which thinks and focuses on concentration and creative ideas. It grew. And the amygdala, which is involved with the anxiety, depression, and fear, and all negative feeling, that shrunk in 1 month. Muslim praise Salah, Alhamdulillah, we should be having very perfect improvement in it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability and patience to that. So we should start focusing in our Salah. When we are told, when you come to Salah, leave everything around. Stay in the moment. That is the mindfulness. Live in the moment. As Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was injured with this arrow, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, when Ali is in the prayer, take it out. And when they took it out, he did not feel it. And this is where we should be focusing on our Salah. Whenever, whatever we do, we should be in the present moment rather than thinking. And obviously life is full of stresses of everybody, whatever they have. So that we should be acceptive of people. We should be tolerant of people. And again, I'm saying here doesn't mean I practice all that. I learned something and I'm sharing. We all have our shortcomings and deficiencies. So if I said anything wrong, may Allah forgive me. If I said anything right, may Allah accept from all of us. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.